My name is Hadden Sharapov. I'm a contemporary pop artist living in Los Angeles. I primarily paint with acrylic paints on custom cut wooden panels. I grew up in the suburbs of Birmingham, Alabama, and have always been very creative. I've always tried to be creating from a very young age in all sorts of different mediums. And I went to college for anthropology. I have a bachelor's in anthropology from Auburn University, where I also double minored in business and Chinese. And then I got my master's of business administration at the University of Alabama. Growing up in Alabama has a huge impact on my work. A lot of people don't know this, but Alabama is the most biodiverse state in the entire country. So growing up, I was surrounded by the most beautiful and most vibrant flora and fauna. So I took a particular interest in the insects. And when I was in high school, I started collecting insects, which is a huge inspiration for my work today. So I love painting different butterflies and moths and beetles and even cicadas and other insects as well, but primarily butterflies and moths. And my work really centers around the idea of celebrating your metamorphosis and reincarnation. I think my two biggest influences for my art are Ashley Longshore, who is also from Alabama. And so her work really resonates very strongly with me. I love her work with insects, and I love her social commentary work. I really relate to those pieces the most. And then I also really enjoy Angela Kruszecki-Blim, who is an artist from Georgia, so just neighboring state to Alabama, so two Southern artists. And I love her style. I love that she creates these really beautiful pieces on wood that she cuts herself, and I just think she's wonderful. Right now, I'm currently focusing on expanding the ways that I can create butterflies. I primarily have been making butterflies that combine elements of diamonds and gemstones. But I'm testing out some new ideas, perhaps involving textiles. We shall see how it goes. For me, by far, the biggest challenge of being an artist is battling loneliness. I think it's so easy for us to sort of lock ourselves in our studios, especially if we have studios at home, and just try and get all of our ideas that are floating around in our heads and bring them into reality. And I think it's so easy to just ignore the rest of the world and just do that. But I think it really leads to creative psychosis. And so as artists, I think it's absolutely so important to get out, to talk to people, to experience new things that maybe even don't relate to our creative process, so we can get new perspective and just feel a little bit more refreshed. The number one piece of advice that I would give to my younger self would be to create art that you would put in your own home. Stop making pieces that you think other people will like and you think other people will put in their homes or their galleries or their showrooms. Just focus on creating works that you would put in your own home. Because it's so easy to put a lot of time into something, and you can be proud of that because of how much time you spent on it. But if you wouldn't put it in your own home, does it really represent you? Probably not. I have tried some unconventional methods when it comes to making my artwork. So for about 2 years, I was actually taking vintage Louis Vuitton handbags that had the LV monogram on them, and I was authenticating them. I was sourcing them and authenticating them, and then I would cut them up. And what's interesting about these bags is that they're actually a waxed canvas. A lot of people think it's leather, but they're waxed canvas. And so I had this idea that Okay, it's a canvas. I'll just use it instead of a traditional cotton or linen. And that's exactly what I did. I would cut up these bags, clean them, wrap them, and, sandpaper, gesso, paint. And that's what I did. And I did that for a few years, and they were pretty successful. But I really decided to switch to more traditional methods just because I felt like it aligned with me a little bit better. I love to listen to audiobooks while I'm painting. Audible is great. I am such a big fan of the library. You don't even have to go into the library in the United States to get a library card to listen to audiobooks. You can sign up online and listen to like almost as many books as you want. So I'm a huge library fan, love listening to audiobooks. And it's good and bad. If you are working on a project that you really want to get done and you have a lot of painting to do, put on an audiobook and you aren't going to want to stop until the book is done. So that's really good. If, for example, you need to do some computer work or do the more businessy side of things, not so good. It's very distracting. So proceed with caution. I think the best reactions to my work are really, I think the best reactions anyone can really ask for their work is when someone looks at your piece and they just light up. They light up because they're seeing something they've never seen before. They get to enjoy a new experience, and they really get it. And so when you see someone experiencing that, there's not much more you could ask for, in my opinion. One thing I always tell my audience is that I want my work to be a reminder that from our most vulnerable times can come our most vibrant. And I really want my pieces to be a celebration of your personal metamorphosis and transformation and reincarnation, and that all parts of you are worthy and all parts of you are worthy to be celebrated.